welcome respected sadhakas by being wonderful shrotas, bhaktas, shishyas, lokasevakas, dharma samsthapakas, and also the jignasus as well as the mumukshus. Let us together, as every day, begin with salutations to the Parabrahma Tattva, to the Ishvara, to all the Devatas, to the entire Guru Parampara, Guru Tattva, Saguru, and also to the great expression of divinity in the form of our Shruti Smriti, Purana and Itihasa Shastras. In today's introduction, before we have the concluding talk on this Upanishad, is first thing in our life we have to live it in such a manner that we ensure that we have got what we minimum need from the world, thus no more we are depending on the world. So too we have given what we have to give to the world so that the world is not expecting anything from us, thus we are left with any of the debts to the world. By a certain age of 50, 60, this has to be achieved. All our Shastras spoke about it in that Brahmacharya Grahastha Ashrama. This is what is to be achieved. Once that particular age time comes, we have to ensure that no more we are needing depending on the world. So too the world is not needing depending on us. Then starts the real actual main thing of our life called as we focus on ourselves and then we help ourselves. First is focusing on ourselves. Then we have to do something to us also for ourselves. We have to enough of doing so much of the extroverted attention and doing so many things outside. हो गया हो चुका है. On ourselves we have to now put our attention and effort. We have to gift ourselves many things. These two questions we can ask as what gift I am giving to myself and what I am doing with myself. What gift I am giving to myself. What can be the worthy gift that can be given. And what I am doing with myself. Isn't it? So in that, the four things we talk about, as we saw now. First is the best gift we give ourselves is we expose ourselves to the Shastra Adhyayana. Because that's what tells us what we have to do with the world, with ourselves, etc. Thereafter, the next stage of the Shastra Adhyanam, after Shastra Adhyanam is, if the knowledge in the Shastras, I am talking about Tattva Shastra, Moksha Shastra, because everything can be named as Shastra. Bhautika Shastras are there, Artha Shastras are there, Dharma Shastras are there, Kamana Shastras are there, so many Vyavaharika. We are here to talk about the Moksha Shastras only. Having exposed to that Moksha Shastras sufficiently as we are doing now, second thing we have to achieve is most essential, whether it has happened to us or not, we have to see. That is antarmukhata, introvertedness. Have we become antarmukha? The bahirmukha is the sharira and outer world, drushti. The antarmukha is within the sharira, including prana, indriya, mana, buddhyadi. Has our drushti on them has started or not? Very important. Without this, we have never started our spiritual journey at all. Like in Lalita Sahasranam it comes, Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. Mother is found inside only in the inner worship, not in the Bahirmukha. So, how much of our day's time we are becoming Antarmukha? This is the second gift we give to ourselves. The first gift is studying the Shastras regularly, never given up. If you have understood Shastras thoroughly, then we should teach the Shastras to others. But in either case, being with the Shastras should not be given up. Because they keep on telling what we are doing is correct or not, what is correct, what is not correct. Clear? Second gift is the antarmukhata. Has it come to us? Mm. Are we stopped seeing the world and improving it? Isn't it very funny with the world? Every great person of renaissance or reforming comes and reforms and goes into the grave, and then world no kutte ki dum ki tarah again comes back to its own position. That doesn't mean his efforts are waste. As long as he was doing something was normal, something was balanced. That was the result. But then again it goes on. Doesn't mean we should not take initiative to help the world or serve the world, but it's only for our inner purity we do it. Then world in its totality has its own way to travel. We have to be aware, we should contribute what we can. More than that, that which is not in our control, what we can do. Even whole world ईश्वर जी के control में भी नहीं होता. In the sense, only according to the samashti vasanas that he'll have to manage. He cannot by himself. That way. So that is why antarmukhata, introvertedness, having become. In that introvertedness, the third gift we give to ourselves is how much we are becoming conscious and aware after becoming introverted about our own status, about our own inner being, in the sense, intellect, its thinkings, understandings, convictions. What is its position? Mind, its thoughts, emotions, projections. We have to take, like anybody takes new charge new in any place, है ना? जिले में आए हैं नया कलेक्टर, or maybe the CI has come to that particular police station, or that principal has come to that college new. What he should do, the first thing is take the entire picture that is happening there, conscious. So it takes few days for him. What is in the district, is area, population, what are the things that are done beautifully so far, what are pending to be done, how to do. The collector is expected to take the whole thing. So to that principal, how many subjects are taught here, what are the courses, classes, students, position, what's going on, how well we are doing in this college, in giving good education, principal should. So to that CA जो भी है officer, he should take the stock of things. How much is his area of jurisdiction? What are the number of police stations? 1 town, 2 town, 3 town. Force कितना है? and the whole area, what are things happening, security. And देखो, same way, having become antarmukha, we have to start becoming chetana yukta, conscious, isn't it? After becoming conscious of exactly what is happening, then we can match it with what is studied by us in the Shastra, isn't it? Then we see, are they going together at every level? What Shastra expects us to maintain our Sharira. Shariram me vicharshunam jihva me madhumattama karnabhyam bhuri vishruvam. You know that? स्वस्ति न इंद्र भद्रम कर्णे विशृणुयामः भद्रम पश्येम अक्षभिः स्थिरैः अङ्गैः तुष्टुवां सह तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः. Isn't it? So, what Shastra is saying about managing my own indriyas? What are their condition now? I know. From the guna drushti we can see whether they are in tamoguna or rajoguna or sattva or their regular controlled, disciplined, coordinated way, are they all functioning or erratic? Isn't it? They'll be generally erratic. No talking between, integration between बुद्धि मन इंद्रिय शरीर. जिस समय जिसका भी डोमिनेंस है वो करेगा. Like at home, at the cooking time and serving time, the wife is dominant. क्योंकि उनका काम है उस. And husband, while getting the salary and things to the house, he will be hero. Naturally, others will obey to him. And the other time, the other children, उसका बर्थडे है या एग्जाम टाइम है, he is. ऐसा नहीं होता. Total as one group, they have to plan out and coordinate, integrate, and do everything which is good for everybody. In the same way, after this third gift, first gift is Shastra Dhenam, information is gained. Second gift is Antarmukhata, learn that art. Third, become conscious of all that's happening inside. Fourth, then each one of them have to be mastered. Integration between all of them is brought. All of that should be geared towards what we have understood as ultimate goal in our spiritual, in our life, through the study of Shastra. And the last one is what? Doing this and this and this alone. When? Not an half an hour a day, 1 hour a day. No. Every moment. Spirituality is every moment. Every moment conscious, every moment alert, every moment very actively, dynamically aggressive we are in avoiding what is not to be done and in doing what is to be done. At each of the upadhi level, for each one's perfection, for mutual integration, for tuning to the ultimate goal. In that way, fully consciously, as per the Shastras, for our own spiritual evolution, every moment we are living. This is the highest gift we can give to ourselves. In this way, with proper planning, understanding, maturity, when we take our own life into our hands and with the reference of the Shastras, when you go on doing the due things, in the beginning it will be very tough. The Tamoguna will challenge us like anything. The Rajoguna will create such a threats. But then when we are genuine, conscious, when we are sincere to our task and working, these obstructions will slowly go. Like you are sincere for your classes, therefore all outer obstructions for your class have gone. The inner also have to be sorted out. That also sorted out, then you start enjoying the class, you look for it every day. Imagine that 3 years back, our time of struggling even to come to class. Now, all that struggle is gone. Struggle. Why? The last few years, by being regular, we mastered the entire that situation. Now automatically, Bhajya the we are in the class, isn't it? In the same way, conquering all those tough things can be achieved. In that, the cares have to be taken regarding our food habits, our resting habits, our exercise habits, our relation with the people around, because outer life affects inner, inner affects outer. So the outer things, sometimes whatever trouble us inner, balance wo karke. Same way inside also, with strong convictions by changing the attitudes or the intentions, whatever required there. ये मेहनत करते रहने से those obstacles go away. Then other than that, taking rest wala time, few hours, we are from the moment we wake up, we are on the job. This is what they do in the ashramas in Gurukula. 9 बजे सो गए रात में, 4 बजे उठ गए. That 7 hours is more than enough for them for working from 4 again till night 9 o'clock without the need of any rest during the day. The 17 hours, isn't it? उठते ही शुरू then. Whatever is required with full zeal, zest, enthusiasm, outer things done for outer management, inner things done for the inner management, integration, coordination, all aiming at one particular final goal. Isn't it? In this way, we have commanded our life fully. This is a great gift we give to ourselves. And already discussed what to give to the world, we have given. Therefore, world doesn't invite us. What we have to get from the world, we got it. We are not inviting the world into us. We are with our own selves. We are giving that gift to ourselves of our own spiritual growth by these 5, 6 things: Shastra Adhyanam, Antarmukhatvam, Chetanavatvam, then managing each of the equipment, integrating all of them, focusing all of them to the ultimate goal, which already is studied through the study of Shastra. And when is it to be done? Every moment. हर पल हमारा दृष्टि उसी पे. And while doing so, because of the earlier wrong habits and all, for some time the disturbances, distractions, the inabilities, the failures may be there. But when we are consistent, all inabilities will become abilities, distractions will be dropped, no more failures, we will succeed. So, like I am doing class now, I am explaining all that, but my goal, my attention today and ultimately, I am aware of it. Once the class is over, what is to be done with myself? To go near to Paramatma, isn't it? In that way, when we become acute in these efforts, many things, unwanted things, and even seemingly wanted but not so much, we'll be able to recognize and we drop them. Slowly, our life by Guru God's grace come to a mature level of knowing every moment what to do for achieving the ultimate. That's the greatest gift we give. In fact, at that level, there is nothing like Rupa Gita we are studying. There is nothing in which we involve. Our only job is to recognize the truth, for that to be on the seat of meditation, and for that commitment, and everything is sorted out. Like now, 22 hours we struggle in the world, 1 2 hours we are in the class and sadhanas. It will be reversed. Those 7 8 hours of rest, 2 3 hours of what is to be done, remaining 12 13 hours, we are only seeking the truth, going on doing our best. हाँ, उसमें फिर उपाधियाँ, प्रारब्ध, ये सब सॉर्ट आउट होने के लिए टाइम लगता है. Like we are doing now, say 4 years we are studying. Every day we are doing upasana japa. But फिर भी sit नहीं हुआ. Why नहीं हुआ? Because this prarabdhas are there, the nature is there. Our struggle should reach to the divinity, the Lord, the Guru. They have to take initiative to help us out, bless us, and all of them put together. Then the obstacles will go away. Then our steadiness in the sadhana increases. Then at that time we know consciously what we are doing, what far we are doing, how far we are able to do, how far we are able to reach. ये सब धीरे धीरे पता चले. So this is a time for us to love ourselves. This is a time for us to take ourselves into confidence. This is a time for ourselves to give gift to ourselves. Enough of loving the world, loving the people. There is no world or people. Everything is projection only. We are studying in all Upanishads and as well as that one. एक level में जरूरी था, where we have to clear our obligations or duties or the debts or the प्रारब्धास. अब क्या है, ज्यादा नहीं फंसना, ज्यादा नहीं फंसाना, हमको अपने काम में रहना. As this 1 hour during the class we are, so to the other time of the day, more and more and more. That in fact sometimes it appears to be aloof and lonely. That's required. तभी जा करके अंतर्चिंतन अंतर्मथन होता हुआ, the darkness of nothing is understood that goes away. Then the patchiness or distractive understanding of that kshipta vikshiptata goes away. Then we become ekagra in pakka knowing what to achieve, what to do to achieve that. कोशिश करने से सब होते रहते हैं. Then luckily, the first gift we never give up, that of studying our Shastra, that goes on informing us, inspiring us, empowering us. ये कब से इम्पोर्टेंट है ना, दिन भर काम करने के लिए 2 बार जैसे भोजन करते हैं हम ऊर्जा के लिए, same way morning evening the urja for our spiritual life is our studying the Shastras. As long as Nirantarata is there in Shastra, then with full love and dedication, not half-heartedly, not mechanically, not just like obligation, but genuinely seriously. So long our information, inspiration will be intact. May we thus discover all these things in our life along and find that fulfillment in our life of doing and achieving the highest and the substantial. If this is not done, we just indulge in the outer world. In that effort, we spoil our inner personality. As the time of departure comes, other than regrets and guilts and remorses, frustrations and unfulfilled desires, and the life is a failure, those feelings. Other than this, there will be nothing to really cherish. है कि नहीं? आउटर वर्ल्ड यू might have achieved something, indulged, enjoyed, बट अंदर भी जवाब देना पड़ता है ना, वहां तो खाली है, वो ऐसा होगा तो वी शुड नॉट अलाउ इट. Outside, when we lived a full life up to a certain age, equally the full inner life we should enjoy living by ourselves. Fullness, as we said so far, Sharira maintained, Prana maintained, Mana maintained, Indriyas maintained, Buddhi maintained, integration of them done. All of them are used for the spiritual journey and maximum travel is done. बस थोड़ा बचा है, एक आध जन्म में हो जाएगा. And why not be more optimistic? In this very life only, we have touched that core. This should be our thinking and planning and executing and fulfilling our life. Thus, after saying so, now we do our Aitareya, last class today. Om, 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhetamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. ओम निधये सर्व विद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ब्रह्मलोकादाशेषादालोकालोकपर्वतात् ये वसन्ति द्विजा देवाः तेभ्यो नित्यं नमो नमः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निजबोधविचारणचारुमते कलयेश्वरजीवविवेकविदौ भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वद्धि साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तं ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः। श्री ऐतरेय महर्षे नमः। आद्यशंकर महर्षे नमः। वेदव्यास महर्षे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्तं ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव अनुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दव संस्कृतेः साम्प्रदायाणां शास्त्राणां भक्तभगवद्गुरुशिष्यपरम्पराणां भक्तियोगवेदान्तादि मोक्षप्रक्रियाणां पुनरुत्थानजागरणसमस्त विश्वव्याप्ति द्वारा विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगति शांति एकता कल्याण पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् धर्म संस्थापने निश्चित अस्माकं सह सर्वेषां गुरूणाम् आचार्याणाम् आश्रमाणां संस्थानां श्रेयोभिलाषिणां भक्तसाधकसेवक उपासकानां पूर्णायुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्य क्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्य वीर्यादि समस्त शक्ति संपदा सानुकूल्यता साधनानां प्राप्ति बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रु विघ्न निर्मूलन द्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थम अनेकानेक शास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषदः श्री आदिशंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनस्य अंतिम कक्षायाः अध्ययन प्रयत्नं साधना प्रयत्नं वयं सर्वेषां गुरूणां देवतानाम् अनुग्रहेण परमात्मानुभूतिप्राप्त्यर्थं करिष्यामहे। ओम अथ श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेयारण्यकांतर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषद ओम मनस्तापतमशान्त्यै यस्य पादनखच्छटा शरदिन्दुनिभा भाति तं वन्दे नीलचिन्मणिम्। ओम अथ श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषत् शांति मंत्रः ओम वांग मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवत्ववतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Friends, if possible, the three things we do now are complete chanting of the first Sambandha Bhashya, which was a little deeper, tougher. Right now, we may not be able to grasp it, so I'm leaving it for after 2 or 3 years. That time we study, but Parayana we do. Thereafter, we do the synopsis of all 3 chapters. If time permits, we do the chanting also of the entire Upanishad. 5-10 minutes ज़्यादा भी लगे, let us try to enjoy today this last class of our Aitareya Upanishad. Okay, so Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. In this first Sambandha Bhashya, what was actually discussed is Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada. So to the Upanishads theme. Okay. In the Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada, at one level, karma alone is to be done. No picture of jnana at all. Little later, jnana karma both we have to pursue. But later on, when we are aiming at Paramatma Prapti, purely the jnana we have to pursue. No trace even of little karma. For the reason is the truth that is to be known is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, which is our own self. There is nothing to be done in that regard, only to know and get abidance. Whereas if you still involve in the karma, then the karta, the karma, the karmendriyas, then the karma phala, which is again the gross samsara, will be lost in it. From this idea, Shankara Bhagavan talks about only jnana is the giver of the moksha. Karma, earlier it was required for sorting out our outer involvements, clearing our debts, etc. So too, through the outer dharma karma only, or the upasana ityadi karma only, the shuddhi of antakarana, sukshmata of the antakarana, ekagrata of the antakarana, then integration of antakarana is achieved. Once that is over, we have no business with any karma. As said in Gita, Sarva Dharman means bracket mein dharma is always karma. Na? Sarva Dharma Karman Parityaja means this. Earlier it was required. So the argument discussion between Purvapakshi Siddhanta is Kurvan Neveha Karmani Jijivishet. Upanishad only said no. Shatakam Samaha, 100 years while doing the karma only you have to go on living. So this is what the Purvapakshi raises the question. We are getting the context in which it is said. And there, if you cannot pursue the Brahmanubhuti, the obstruction for it is the Antakarana Ashuddhi. For the sake of Shuddhi of the Antakarana, do the Shastrokta karma continuously. That is what is aimed at. It is not said create more and more Kamana and do the Kamya karma of the Yajna, Upasana, etc. Other thing is what? If even the karma also is not done, first to fulfill desires, second for the antakarana shuddhi, we will enter into the tamoguna. Once we enter into tamoguna, all our spiritual progress is 100% halted, blocked, it is made zero. From that drushti, Shruti Mata said, not that karma is necessary or karma is required, rather karma is an obstruction. To know and be the self, what is to be done? Nothing to be done. This is what is the Jnana Karma Samuchayavada essence. So to this particular Upanishad also is Upanishad only whose theme is Brahma Vidya. Before this beginning of Upanishad, in the first 3 chapters of this Aitareya Aranyaka, maybe the karma all of that are spoken, knowing that this is not sufficient for moksha, that the Shruti Mata started the Jnana Kanda of the Upanishad. The Upanishad whose portion is Jnana or Jnana portion which is called Upanishad, the Shruti Mata is spoken. So this portion is talking about Jnana Karma Samuchaya, Purvapakshi says. Siddhanta says, no, it is purely Jnanam, it is Upanishad, it is Brahma Vidya portion. Regarding the text, this is a discussion going on in this introductory Bhashya. Second one is what? Jnana Karma Samuchaya is required for moksha. Bhagavan says, no pure Jnanam required. Now, no contradiction in the evening class of Yoga Darshanam, where when both the disciples, whether it is what is that? Karunya approached his father Agnivesha, or whether our Agastya Rishi was our Sutikshnaji has gone. In both their cases, the question was this only. Is jnana required or is karma required for moksha? It is as if the jnana karma samuchaya is told. But remember, it is a Smriti Grantha, not it is Shruti or Upanishad. Second is, it is going to be addressed to whom? The Raja Rama. तो राजा है वो राम, तो उनको तो कर्म ही करना पड़ेगा फॉर द लोक कल्याणम. So too that other two also, till the inner purification happens, we have to involve in karma. Later on, again it will be told in the same text, only through jnana moksha. See, we should understand all and each one's completeness or importance, and where is what important. Confuse नहीं होना हमको. So for the ultimate experience of the truth, we have to be in that standstill mood of show total antakarana. Then only we transcend it and land into the pure conscious blissful existence self. From that standpoint, it is said that totally the karma is to be given up. But before that, the karma for seva, for dharma, for antakarana shuddhi, for clearing the debts, wo to chahiye hi. So these 2 points throughout this discussion discussed between Purvapakshi Siddhanti with so many intermediate points. So all of that will not discuss, but we just go through the chanting. You just listen it. मैं chant करूँगा. कहीं लगे मन में कुछ समझ में आया मुझे कहने को, then I speak. Otherwise, go ahead. ओम अथ श्रीं ऋग्वेदान्तर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषद श्री आद्य शंकराचार्य कृत संबंध भाष्यम. ओम परिसमाप्तं कर्म सह अपरब्रह्म विषय विज्ञानेन स एषा कर्मणः ज्ञानसहितस्य परागतिः उक्त विज्ञानद्वारेण उपसंहृता. एतत् सत्यं ब्रह्म प्राणाख्यम् एषः एकः देवः एतस्य एव प्राणस्य सर्वे देवाः विभूतयः एतस्य प्राणस्य आत्मभावं गच्छन् देवता अप्येति इति उक्तम्. सः अयं देवता अप्ययलक्षणः परः पुरुषार्थः एषः मोक्षः. सः च अयं यथोक्तेन ज्ञान कर्म समुच्चय साधनेन प्राप्तव्यः न अतः परम् अस्ति इति एके प्रतिपन्नाः. तान् निराचिकीर्षुः उत्तरं केवल आत्मज्ञान विधानार्थम् आत्मा वा इदम् इत्यादि आह. So before the atma va idagam sarvam idameka ivagra asit mantra started, what was said was Jnana Karma Samuchayavada, in which one can reach to any Devata Sthiti, even up to the Hiranyagarbha Brahmadeva Sthiti. So for those who through this Jnana Karma Samuchaya reaching to that Brahmadeva Sthiti or other Devata Sthiti alone is moksha. Those who are misunderstanding in this way and concluding the definition of the moksha there itself, to answer to them, to tell them that no, there is something beyond called as reaching the Parabrahmanubhuti, and that too not with Jnana Karma Samuchaya, but only through pure Jnana, to indicate that the Shruti Mata, the Veda Mata, started in the Aitareya Brahmana, the 4th chapter, which is purely Upanishad, which is purely Jnana, in which pure Brahma Tattva is established. Isn't it? Because studying something is different from understanding it, is different from what is the final point in that. Isn't it? बहुत हम पढ़ते हैं देखते, बट पूरा जो बात उसका सार समझ में आए कि नहीं. Those who don't have that subtlety, they will misunderstand or wrong understand it insufficiently they understand. So in this way, ta nirakar chikirshuho uttaram kevala atma jnana vidhanartham. Only pure atma jnana is a moksha hetu. For that all karma has to be dropped. To teach this only, the Upanishad started. This is Siddhanti's Paksha. Then the Purvapakshi goes to talk in 3 or 4 pages to say that no, there is both of them together. Again, Siddhanti takes up one by one argument of the Purvapakshi, then he answers. In other Upanishads, पूर्व पक्षी ने कहा, सिद्धांत ने आंसर पूर्व. So one by one होता है. यहाँ पूरा पूर्व पक्षी only runs into 4 pages. All that keeping in the mind, the Siddhanti answers. So it's a vigorous homework for you and I to sit and work out. That's why we are not going into those details. It becomes like a research scholar's study. Not that it is impossible, we can do it, but then different mood is required. It's not like done online. मैं आश्रम में बैठकर फिर पूरा पूर्व पक्षी को पॉइंट्स को लिखवा कर then सिद्धांति को पढ़ाते हुए how that point of पूर्व पक्षी सिद्धांति has answered or refuted etc. That is how this subject is there. So just keeping in mind the heaviness of the subject, we are just going through the chant, but understood, no, what level karma is required exclusively, where the karma should be clubbed with the jnanam, where slowly the karma should be reduced, only jnana we have to adopt for the atmanubhuti moksha prapti ityadi. Now done. Now katham punaha akarma sambandhi केवल आत्मविज्ञान विधानार्थम उत्तर ग्रंथः इति गम्यते अन्य अर्थ अनवगमात्. दिस इज आल्सो स्टिल सिद्धांति ओनली. तथा च पूर्वोक्तानां देवतानां अज्ञादीनां संसारित्वं दर्शयिष्यति अशनायादि दोषवत्वेन. Arey, even you reach to those devata shariras and all, still they have asana pipasa aisa कहकर they are still in the samsara. That is proved. So by this what is said, reaching Brahmadeva sthiti or other devata sthiti is not moksha. There is also asana pipasa the conditionings, therefore that also is samsara. So तथा च पूर्वोक्तानां देवतानां अज्ञादीनां संसारित्वं दर्शयिष्यति अशनायादि दोषवत्वेन तम अशना पिपासाभ्याम अन्ववार्जत इत्यादिना. अशनायादि मत सर्वं संसार एव परस्य तु ब्रह्मणः अशनायादि अत्यय श्रुतेः. So when you are in the ashanadi, you are still in samsara. In Parabrahma, the ashana pipasa, the hunger thirst, the shoka moha ityadi are not there. Now the samuchayavadi starts doing his akshepa. Bhavatu evam kevala atmajnanam mokshadadanam natu atra karmi eva adhikriyate. अत्र अकर्मी एव अधिक्रियते विशेषण अश्रवणात्. विशेष अश्रवणात् अकर्मिणः आश्रमी अंतरस्य इह अश्रवणात् कर्म च बृहति सहस्रलक्षणं प्रस्तुत्य अंतरमेव आत्मज्ञानं प्रारभ्यते तस्मात् कर्मी एव अधिक्रियते. She says nowhere karmi should not be involved in the jnana, it is not mentioned. And also only after telling the Bruhat Karma Vidhana that the Jnana portion started. Therefore, after Karma Jnana portion started, therefore Karma is required. To the Karmi only it is taught, therefore the Karmi is the Adhikari for Jnanam. So this is what is the Jnana Karma Samuchayavadi's point. So what is the thought of the Siddhanti? प्योर ज्ञान मार्ग, ज्ञान प्राप्ति से मोक्ष होता है. फर्दर प्राप्ति ऑफ द ज्ञान, every karma has to be given up purely only in the dhyana sthiti. One has to, after contemplation in meditation, has to realize this self. These Purvapakshis no karma ko bhi hum lagayenge. Siddhanti's problem is what with karma. Any karma when we are involved, we are bound by karma phala. We are bound by the karma itself. You are bound by the karta. And wherever the karta, karma are there, there all dualities are there. All of that is functional, operational. Only in the not self, in the grass world. In the pure self, which is talked about in all the Upanishads. There is no karma, karma phala, karta. All of them are not at all there. There is something beyond it. It's beyond everything. So this is how Siddhanta is point. I'm just telling to keep in mind. Then nacha karma asambandhi atma vijnanam puravad ante upasamharat. Yatha karma sambandhinah purushasya सूर्य आत्मनः स्थावर जंगमादि सर्व प्राणी आत्मत्वम उक्तम ब्राह्मणेन मंत्रेण च सूर्य आत्मा इत्यादिना तथा एव एष ब्रह्मा एष इंद्रः इत्यादि उपक्रम्य सर्व प्राणी आत्मत्वम यच्च स्थावरं सर्वं तत्प्रज्ञानेत्रम इति उपसंहरिष्यति. So in this very Upanishad, in another Upanishads also, toward the end, as the Upanishad concludes, he becomes one with Surya, he becomes one with everything. When that is said, that Surya and everything are there, no? So the duality is there. So this is how the Purva Pakshi tries to bring the Jnana Karma Samuchaya, also tries to bring the Dvaita as if is the final thing reached. So these are the things. There are flaws in his points. Siddhanti, after listening to all that patiently answers. तथा च these are all पूर्वपक्षी's objections. संहिता उपनिषदि एतम हि एवा बहुरुचा महति उक्ते मीमांसन्ते इत्यादिना कर्म संबंधित्वम् उक्त्वा सर्वेषु भूतेषु एतमेव ब्रह्म इति आचक्ष्यते इति उपसंहरति. तथा तस्य एव यः अयम् अशरीरः प्रज्ञात्मा इति उक्तस्य यः च असौ आदित्यः एकमेव तद् इति विद्यात् इति एकत्वम् उक्तम्. यः अपि कोऽयमात्मा इति उपक्रम्य प्रज्ञात्मत्वम् एव प्रज्ञानं ब्रह्म इति दर्शयिष्यति. तस्मात् न अकर्म संबंधी आत्मज्ञानम्. Therefore, everywhere the karma is added, how can the Atma Jnanam be without the karma sambandha? So, all these quotations, I have to explain with the context. It will be too big. That's why I was avoiding all that. Punanukti anarthakyamidi chet कथम प्राणो वा अहम अस्मि ऋषे इत्यादि ब्राह्मणेन सूर्य आत्मा इति मंत्रेण च निर्धारितस्य आत्मनः आत्मा वा इदम् इत्यादि ब्राह्मणेन कोऽयम् आत्मा इति प्रश्नपूर्वकं पुनर्निर्धारणं पुनरुक्तम् अनर्थकमिति चेत् न. All of this is Purvapakshi only saying. तस्य एव धर्मांतर विशेष निर्धारणार्थत्वात् न पुनरुक्तता दोषः. कथम तस्य एव कर्म संबंधिनः जगत् सृष्टि स्थिति संहारादि धर्म विशेष निर्धारणार्थत्वात् केवल उपास्ति अर्थत्वात् वा अथवा आत्मा इत्यादि परः ग्रंथ संदर्भः आत्मनः कर्मिणः कर्मणः अन्यत्र उपासना प्राप्तौ कर्म प्रस्तावे अवितत्वात् केवलः अपि आत्मा उपास्य इति एवम् अर्थः. भेदा भेद उपास्यत्वाद् वा एकः एव आत्मा कर्म विषये भेद दृष्टिभाक् सह एव अकर्म काले अभेदेन अपि उपास्यः इति एवं अपनरुक्तता. विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयगं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्ययामृतमश्नुते इति कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतकं समाः इति अच्छ वाजिनां न च वर्षशतात् परम आयुः मर्त्यानां येन कर्म परित्यागेन आत्मानम् उपासीत. दर्शितं च तावन्ति पुरुषायुषः अह्नां सहस्राणि भवन्ति इति. वर्षशतं च आयुः कर्मणा एव व्याप्तं. दर्शितश्च मंत्रः कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि इत्यादि. तथा यावत् जीवम् अग्निहोत्रं जुहोति यावत् जीवं दर्शपूर्णमासाभ्यां यजेत इत्याद्याः च तं यज्ञपात्रैर्दहन्ति इति च. What a beautiful quotes he is giving. वो बंदा जो शरीर को छोड़ के गया उनका शरीर को यज्ञ पात्रों के साथ मिलाकर जलाते हैं. This is said in the Vedas. So why is taking this quotation? देखो, even after dying also the yajna patras are put along with him to burn. That means what? Till the death one has to do the karma, yajna karma, upasana karma. यावत् जीवम अग्निहोत्रम जुहोति यावत् जीवम दर्शपूर्णमासाभ्याम. See how many shrutis are there that karma cannot be given up. This is what is a point, the Purva Pakshi's point. He quotes that ईशावास्य वाला कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतकं समाह. तो desire to live 100 years, But every year, every moment is only desiring to do the karma. Then other Upanishad it is said, ki 33,000 are the days of the human being. Not that, है कि नहीं? So, all that years, days he has to work only karma is equal to 100 years आयु. तो इतनी जगह पे ये है. No, what is to be understood is, those who have not aimed at Paramatma Tattva, for them at this level of class, all these are told. No, you are not looking at the higher class and higher thing, and this only you are concluding. Here it is concluded, but it is not the end. गृहस्थों के लिए वो कहा, बट जो परमात्मा पाना चाहते हैं उनके लिए दूसरी जगह पे दूसरी बातें कही. So to all these, the Siddhanti will give those countering quotations from the Shastras. Okay. So this Purva Pakshi's fear is what? How can one be without doing karma and all that? What is the need of giving up this karma? Siddhanti का fear क्या है? Little of the karma is allowed. Karta, karma, karma phala continues. So to that pure self which is akarta, bhokta, that cannot be achieved. Siddhanta is very clear. He has experienced it. From that only he is talking. Samasya is with the Purva Pakshi. Okay. Then tam yajna patrair dahanti iti cha. Then runatraya shrutescha. Dekho, 3 runa you have to go on clearing. Tatra parivrajyadi shastram. Then he himself says, yeah, I have seen the shastras which talk about parivrajya, sanyasa ityadi, yuttayata bhikshacharyam charanti iti atmajnana stutiparaha arthavadaha anadhikrita artova. That is only for the stuti of the Atmajnana. It is said, one need not think much about it. See, the quotations which talk about giving up everything and taking up sannyasa, then only you can have the Jnana Prapti. Those things, this Purvapakshi is taking lightly, dropping. And the karma related things is highlighting. You know how the intellects work. Untrained, raw, biased intellects. In our life also, how we with intellect only justify worldliness, justify non-spirituality. With the intellect only we refute spirituality. दिमाग से करते. Like in any government, the opposition दिमाग लगाकर ही जो अच्छा काम हो रहा है उसको उसके खिलाफ चलते, दिमाग लगा. इसलिए दिमाग होना अलग है, उसको यूज करना अलग है, उसको ढंग से यूज करना अलग होता है. Yes, we know that Bhikshacharyam Charanti is written, but iti Atmajnana स्तुति पर अर्थवाद. वो आत्मज्ञान का स्तुति करने के लिए है. इसका जरूरत नहीं है कि therefore one should take the sannyasa, one should give all karma, then only Paramatma will be obtained. ऐसा नहीं. See, he has understood that Atmajnana is moksha. Then now the point is not exclusively, but it is to be endowed with the karma. So he's the Jnana Karma Samuchaya discussion. The Purva Pakshi says they should go together. Siddhanti tries to prove no. Totally one has to rise above everything related to karma. Then only the pure self one can discover and establish in him. Highest Siddhanti ka jo point hai. Right? Now, Paramartha Vijnane, now from here Siddhanti says, Paramartha Vijnane, Phala Adarshane, Kriyanubhavatehe, Yaduktam Karminaha Atmajnanam, Karma Sambandhincha Ityadi, Tadana, Paramhi Apta Kamam, Sarva Samsara Dosha Varjitam, Brahma Aham Asmiti, Atmatmena Vijnane, Krutena Kartavyena Va, Prayojanam, Atmanaha Avashyataha, Phala Adarshane, Kriya na Upabhadyate. See, what is said is Atma Prapti is not a phala. It is already there, it is recognized. Because it is not phala, phala always comes after karma only, therefore there is no need of karma. Siddhanti's way of discussion. I am not explaining any detailedly, I am just saying how he is refuting Purva Pakshi's points. Atma Jnana is not a phala, it is ever there. Only we are realizing it. Because it is not a phala, how can it be there? There will be a karma to achieve it. फल के लिए कर्म होता है, कर्म करो तो फल होता है. ये फल नहीं है, इसलिए इसके लिए कर्म की जरूरत नहीं है. So paramhi apta kamam sarva samsara dosha varjitam brahma aham asmi iti atmatvena vijnane. Already existing pure Brahman, we are discovering as ourselves. With for that, krutena kartavyena va prayojanam atmana apashyatah. There is no karma to be done for discovering the self. Therefore, phaladarshane, the atmanubhuti, it's being not the karma phala, kriya na upavajyate. There is no need of any karma done. You are just recognizing what you are. फल अदर्शने अपि नियुक्तत्वात् करोति इति चेत् न नियोग अविषय आत्मदर्शनात्. See, we are told throughout Shastras, even for Brahma Jnana, karo karo karke. But that karo is only to one level. After that, just being that we are. See, that's what yesterday, day before, we are so lucky in that Rubu Gita, how that Guru Maharaj is Ruji continuously rejecting everything, karma, and he's just telling, just to be. Even the thought of just to be also is an obstruction, he says. So, in the whole Rubu Gita, we can see the honest struggle of him to explain to us that which is inexplicable. That text is the proof that the self is such an inexplicable experience that how much ever you explain, still you have feel that you have not explained completely, and all that explanation is wrong. That contradiction we can see there. Contradiction means that's how it is. इसके बारे में कुछ नहीं कह सकते हैं करके कहते कहते जा रहा है और कहना पूरा नहीं हुआ और जो भी कहा वो सब गलत है, जरूरत नहीं. गलत मीन जरूरत. Very interesting that Atmanubhuti sthiti, he is rejecting. And still he says, he even drop that rejection also. After a few more years of pure Vedanta Charcha, then that intuitive power will come to us, then we'll be able to grasp. Not before that. Okay. Then he continues, Phala adarsanepi niyuktatvat karoti iti chet na niyoga avishayatva atmadarshanato. Avishaya atmadarshanato. इष्टयोगम अनिष्ट वियोगम च आत्मनः प्रयोजनं पश्यन् तद उपायार्थी यः भवति स नियोगस्य विषयः दृष्टः लोके न तु तद् विपरीत नियोग अविषय ब्रह्म आत्मत्वदर्शी. So you give up all that is obstruction to the Atmanubhuti. You take up all that helps for Atmanubhuti. तो यह नियोग विनियोग तो बताया ना. Says yes, who is there far away from the self. But to establish in the self, it is already me. उसको क्या छोड़ना है, क्या पकड़ना है उसमें. I am already the self. Self is all pervading. Other than the self, there is nothing is there. Then what are you living and what are you holding? शुरू में कहते हैं आत्म प्राप्ति के लिए गिव अप दिस, टेक अप दिस, बट फाइनल मोमेंट में नो नीड, बिकॉज दैट अलोन इज देयर एंड दैट इज यू. एंड व्हाट कैन यू होल्ड? देयर इज नथिंग अदर देन इट. सो हाउ कैन यू गिव इट अप? So niyoga viniyoga also are not possible. Then brahmatmatva darshi api san chet niyujyeta niyoga avishaya api san na kaschit na niyuktaha iti sarvam karma sarvena sarvada kartavyam prapnoti tacha anishtam na cha sa niyoktum shakyate kenachit amnayasya api tat prabhavatvat. Wow, what a great discussion it is. That he says some places in some shastras the Atma Jnani also is put into some action. He says nobody can dare to put Atma Jnani into action. In fact, you are talking about the Shastras. Shastras also are given by him. They can't command him. See? न च सः नियोक्तुं शक्यते केनचित् वै आम्नायस्य अपि तत् प्रभवत्वात् न हि सविज्ञानोत्थेन वचसा स्वयं नियुज्यते न अपि बहुवित स्वामी अविवेकिना भृत्येन. Just like the Swami who knows everything, how can he be ordered by the servant who knows nothing? So too, this Brahmajnani is the Swami to all the Shastras. From him, through him, the Shastras came for the sake of others. Such Shastra, how can it command the Brahmajnani to do this or that? Impossible. Therefore, there is no karma required. Amnayasya nityatve sati swatantriyat sarvan prati niyoktruttvam samartyam iti chet na ukta doshat. तथापि सर्वेण सर्वदा सर्वम् अविशिष्टं कर्म कर्तव्यम् इति उक्तः दोषः अपि अपरिहार्यः एव तदपि शास्त्रेण एव विधीयते इति चेत् यथा कर्म कर्तव्यता शास्त्रेण कृता तथा तदापि आत्मज्ञानं तस्यैव कर्मिणः शास्त्रेण विधीयते इति चेत् न विरुद्धार्थत्व बोधकत्वानुपपत्तेः न हि एकस्मिन् कृताकृतसम्बन्धित्वं तद्विपरीतत्वं च बोधयितुं शक्यं शीतोष्णताम् इव अग्नेः. No, he says Shastra only spoke about karma to the sadhaka. Shastra only spoke about giving up the karma. This is Purva Pakshi's point. Siddhanta says, might have said, but not the final conclusion. At different stages, it must have said like that. But the final conclusion is no karma for the jnani. Because about Agni, when you talk, you can't talk it is cold and hot also. एक ही बात करना है और वो भी सत्य होना है. So Agni is hot or cold. So two doubts have come. So therefore I am concluding one only. My one conclusion is Agni is cold. It is wrong, ना. अग्नि क्या है ना, गर्म या सर्दी दोनों नहीं हो सकते, एक ही हो सकते हैं और उसमें वो ठंडा नहीं हो सकता, वो गर्म ही होगा. So too, even though Shruti Mata spoke about jnana in different places, moksha in different places, karma, they being opposite to each other. So she must have said, but conclusively, she will say only one, and that has to be only jnana without karma. So na hi ekasmin kruta akruta sambandhitvam tad viparithatvam cha bodhayitum shakyam shitoshnatameva agnehe. So nacha ishta yoga chikirsha atmanah anishta viyoga chikirsha cha shastra krita sarva praninam tad darshanat shastra krutam chet tad ubhayam gopaladinam न दृश्येत अशास्त्रज्ञत्वात् तेषां यदि स्वतः अप्राप्तं तत् शास्त्रेण बोधयितव्यं तच्चेत् कृतकर्तव्यता विरोध आत्मज्ञानं शास्त्रेण कृतं कथं तद् विरुद्धां कर्तव्यतां पुनः उत्पादयेत् शीततामिव अग्नौ तमः इव च भानौ. So Ishta Prapti, Anishta Prapti, the Shastra mentioned, that is it, the further Shastra is not required. Even Gwalbal also know what they want, what they don't want. So these are all the discussions. न बोधयति अवैति चेत् न समय आत्मा इति विद्यात् प्रज्ञानं ब्रह्म इति च उपसंहारात् तद् आत्मानमेव अवेति तत् त्वमसि इत्येवमादिवाक्यानां तत्परत्वात् उत्पन्नस्य च ब्रह्मात्म विज्ञानस्य अबध्यमानत्वात् न अनुत्पन्नं भ्रान्तं वा इति शक्यं वक्तुम्. त्यागे अपि प्रयोजन अभावस्य तुल्यत्वमिति चेत् न अकृतेनेह कश्चन इति स्मृतेः यः आहुः विदित्वा ब्रह्म व्युत्थानमेव कुर्यादिति तेषामपि एष समानः दोषः प्रयोजन अभावः इति चेत् न अक्रियामात्रत्वाद् व्युत्थानस्य अविद्यानिमित्तः हि प्रयोजनस्य भावः न वस्तुधर्मः सर्वप्राणिनां तद्दर्शनात् प्रयोजनतृष्णया च प्रेर्यमाणस्य वाङ्मनः कायैः प्रवृत्तिदर्शनात् सः अकामयत जायामे स्यात् इत्यादिना पुत्रवित्तादि पाङ्क्तलक्षणं काम्यमेव इति उभैः एति एषणे एव इति वाजस्नेयी ब्राह्मणे अवधारणात् अविद्याकामदोषनिमित्तायाः वाङ्मनः कायप्रवृत्तेः पाङ्क्तलक्षणायाः विदुषः अविद्यादिदोष अभावात् अनुपपत्तेः क्रियाभावमात्रं युक्तानयम् न तु यागादिवत् अनुष्ठेयरूपं भावात्मकं तच्च विद्यावत् पुरुषधर्म इति न प्रयोजनम् अन्वेष्टव्यं न हि तमसि प्रवृत्तस्य उदित आलोके यद्गर्तपङ्ककण्टकादि अपतनं तत् किं प्रयोजनम् इति प्रश्नार्हम्. व्युत्थानं तर्हि अर्थप्राप्तत्वात् न चोदनार्हम् इति गार्हस्थ्ये चेत् परं ब्रह्म विज्ञानं जातं तत्र एव अस्तु अकुर्वत आसनं न ततः अन्यत्र गमनमिति चेत् न कामप्रयुक्तत्वात् गार्हस्थ्यस्य एतावान् वै कामः इति उभेहि एति एषणे एव इति अवधारणात् कामनिमित्तपुत्रवित्तादिसम्बन्धनियमाभावम् अत्र न हि ततः अन्यत्र गमनं व्युत्थानम् उच्यते अतः न गार्हस्थ्य एव अकुर्वतः आसनम् उत्पन्न विद्यस्य एतेन गुरुशुश्रूषा तपः तपसोः अपि अप्रतिपत्तिः विदुषः सिद्धा अत्र केचित् गृहस्थाः भिक्षाटनादिभयात् परिभवात् च तस्य मानाः सूक्ष्मदृष्टितां दर्शयन्तः उत्तरमाहुः भिक्षोः अपि भिक्षाटनादि नियमदर्शनात् देहधारणमात्रार्थिनः गृहस्थस्य अपि साध्यसाधन एषणा उभय विनिर्मुक्तस्य देहमात्रधारणार्थम् अशनाच्छादनमात्रम् उपजीवतः गृहे एव अस्तु आसनम् इति न स्वगृहविशेषपरिग्रहनियमस्य कामपरेक्तृत्वादि इति उक्ता उत्तरमेतत् स्वगृहविशेषपरिग्रहाभावे च शरीरधारणमात्र प्रयुक्त अशनाच्छादनार्थिनः स्वपरिग्रहविशेष अभावे अर्थात भिक्षुकत्वम् एव नो लॉट ऑफ गृहस्थ में रहकर भी ध्यान कर सकते हैं ना गृहस्थ को कैसे सन्यासी की तरह भिक्षा करना है उनको फिर इंसल्ट हो जाता है नो ही सेज बीइंग एट होम वी कैन बी साधक भगवान से ये मेरा घर है अब उसको पकड़ के रखे होना दैट इटसेल्फ इज बॉन्डेज he says so the bhikshutvam is not having ownership to anything for that reason the bhikshutvam is mentioned that is a necessary condition for sadhana which is not possible by being in grihastha ashram because by saying that I want to be in the grihastha you are already concluding that you want to hold on to the house then you cannot be fit for the Atma Prapti. But the Sadhu Santa also, they stay in the ashramas. They stay in the ashrama not identified owning that this is my place also. This is only for the shelter they stay, but not with ownership. So, Sharira Dharanarthayam Bhikshatnadi Pravurtau Yata Niyamaha Bhikshoho Shauchadau Cha Tata Gruhinaha Bhi Vidushaha Akaminaha Astu Nitya Karmasu Niyamena Pravurtihi Yavat Jivadi Shruti Niyuktatvat Pratyavaya Pariharaya Iti एतत् नियोग विषयत्वेन विदुषः प्रत्युक्तम् अशक्य नियोज्यत्वात् च इति यावत् जीवादि नित्य शोधनानार्थ अनर्थक्यमिति चेत् न अविद्वत् विषयत्वेन अर्थवत्वात् ओके यत्तु भिक्षोः शरीरधारणमात्र प्रवृत्तस्य प्रवृत्तेः नियततत्वं तत् प्रवृत्तेः न प्रयोजकम् आचमन प्रवृत्तस्य पिपासापगमवत् न अन्य प्रयोजनार्थत्वम् अवगम्यते न च अग्निहोत्रादीनां तद्वद् अर्थप्राप्त प्रवृत्तिनियतत्व उपपत्तिः अर्थप्राप्त प्रवृत्तिनियमः अपि प्रयोजनाभावे अनुपन्ना एव चेत् न तस्मिन् अयम् अस्य पूर्वप्रवृत्तिसिद्धत्वात् तदतिक्रमे यत्नगौरवात् देन् अर्थप्राप्तस्य वित्थानस्य पुनर्वचनात् विदुषः कर्तव्यत्व उपपत्तिः अविदुषा अपि मुमुक्षुणा पारिव्राज्यं कर्तव्यम् एव तथा च शान्तो दान्तः इत्यादि वचनं प्रमाणम् शमदमादीनां च आत्मदर्शनसाधनानाम् अन्याश्रमेषु अनुपपत्तेः अत्याश्रमिभ्यः परमं पवित्रं प्रोवाच सम्यग् ऋषिसङ्गजुष्टम् इति च श्वेताश्वतरे विज्ञायते न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानुषुः इति च कैवल्यश्रुतिः ज्ञात्वा नैष्कर्म्यम् आचरेत् इति च स्मृतेः ब्रह्माश्रमपदे वसेत् इति च ब्रह्मचर्यादि विद्यासाधनानां च साकल्येन अत्याश्रमिषु उपपत्तेः गारहस्थ्ये असंभवात् न च असंपन्नं साधनं कस्यचित् अर्थस्य साधनाय अलम् यद्विज्ञानोपयोगीनि च गार्हस्थ्याश्रमकर्माणि तेषां परमफलम् उपसंहृतं देवता अप्यलक्षणं संसारविषयमेव यदि कर्मिणः एव परमात्मविज्ञानम् अभविष्यत् संसारविषयस्य एव फलस्य उपसंहारः न उपात्स्यत् अंगफलं तदिति चेत् these are so many deep intricate discussions they are all so I thought हो जाएगा वो आज नहीं होगा तो one more day we extend our class. I just want to have my contentment that even if not exhaustively studied, at least the parayanam of this introductory Bhashyam is seen. It was always in mind. So right now, we don't have that scholarly dimag for questioning all these things and getting the answer. As you have seen now, how many Upanishads and all of them are quoted by the Purvapakshi to put up his point of karma is required and being in grahastha only we have to get moksha, and how the Siddhanti also showing what are the shortcomings if that is the idea, and he is giving his own quotes of the Upanishads where only when the sarva karma tyaga is done and sannyasa is taken, then only the moksha anubhuti comes. Then the examples, that's what are quoted now. There are some rishis who are in the Grihastha ashrama. They say they appear to be there in that way. We are not talking about the outer thing only. Deep inside them, they are already have risen above all the Eshanas. So in this way, what is to be understood is where the individuality, the upadhis, the world are still given importance. Called as in the Karma Kshetra, the Shuddha Atma Tattva, which is beyond all that, cannot be comprehended, can't be meditated, can't be realized. With the realization of that only there is moksha, therefore one cannot get the moksha. Therefore, such people you may conclude कि becoming a Devata Rupa is a moksha or becoming one with the Hiranyagarbha is a moksha. तुम लोग कह लो वहाँ कहो तो, लेकिन don't conclude that as the Upanishads or the Vedas final teaching. वेद वेदांत उपनिषदों में तो केवल ब्रह्मानुभूति अलोन इज फाइनल मोक्ष. देखो, everybody decides their own bandhanam, everybody decides their own moksha. Like, I don't have the house, therefore I am bound. I make my own house, I am liberated. I am not married, bound, married, liberated. I don't have children, feel bondage, and I marry and get children, and I say I am liberated. So everyone is temporarily defining his bondages and defining his liberations. But that's not what Shastra said ultimately. What the highly achieved rishis said ultimately. If you don't consider it, then there is no need of Shastra Dhenam. You can do your own manmani. But when you have trusted the Shastras, our Guru Parampara, then we have to tune also to what they say ultimately. So by this, Shankara Bhagavan, though appears to be refuting outside, no, he is only telling that a pure heart which has gone beyond all identities with upadhis, therefore not seeking anything for those upadhis, is fit for to transcend the upadhi and see the pure self. His point is that. So here the attack mutually is happening with the words seemingly outside, but not outside, it is inside. So Purvapakshi is having his own inner bhavanas, understandings. Somewhere he is caught up there. The Siddhanti, by his own power of experience and authority of Shastra, is trying to help the Purvapakshi to come out of those very finer conditionings. Again, remember the conditions always start very finer, but they only gather momentum and they become such a strong ones. Like a big cyclone also starts with a small wave only. Slowly, slowly. That's what in Narada Sutra, Tarangaita Abhime Sangat Samudrayante. See, Lord संकल्पा की एक ओहम बहुश्याम, मैं अनेक बनूंगा. थोड़ा ही संकल्प उनका इतना बड़ा दुनिया बन गए कि नहीं. Therefore, Siddhanti doesn't want to leave even little trace or opportunity. Like, थोड़ा सा मैं जागृत अवस्था का मिठाई मुंह में लगाकर फिर सो जाऊंगा. You can't have in a little any peppermint also to enter into deep sleep of the waking. You have to drop it completely. Same way, we can't smuggle anything of the dream into the waking. है ना? Saying to the friend, अरे दे दो 20,000 रुपए, मैंने तुमको दिया. है ना? When did you give me? I gave you yesterday in this sapna. So give me back. No, you can't say na. And the fellow, if he's Vedanta, he says, अरे या भूल गया मैंने दिया था, तुमने दिया था मैं 20,000, चलो कल सपने में आ जाओ, कल दे दूंगा. He will talk in that wise manner. You can't smuggle. In the same way, in that pure, all transcending conscious self, dropping everything else alone gives the entry to that. Ensures that we are given the visa to enter into it. Even little karta, kartrutva, or any holding on to anything, still we are with upadhi as a samsari. So nirupadika sarva samsara atita varjita parabrahma prapti ke liye, how can you still hold on to something? So see, both of them are rigid. One is rigid because of his ignorance, other is rigid because of his experience. Siddhanta experienced it. Therefore, how can he counter his experience himself? I am experiencing the Brahman, which is one without second, in which the karma is not required, etc. And this fellow also is rigid, and it is his own experience, but it is limited, pseudo. Siddhanta has seen both of them. The Purvapakshi has seen only one. This Purvapakshi only, after a lot of argument, agrees with the Siddhanti, and then he tries what Siddhanti says. When he experiences, he himself says, yeah, you are right. The Atmanubhuti is that where all the karma kshetra is transcended. He himself becomes now Siddhanti. He will talk to the other Purvapakshis later on, who again, like he was, talk to him about the need of the karma, kartrutva and all for moksha. So the whole points are what? ज्ञान कर्म समुच्चय नहीं चलेगा, केवल ज्ञान. And for that jnana, sarva sangha parityaga is required in its true sense. Otherwise, at any moment, even little bit we are caught in. See that Bharatji, he gave up everything. Kingdom अपने बच्चों को दे दिया, सब हो गया. But he held on to that deer. That was enough for him. Forget about moksha. He got the deer body only. Next life. These are all the examples to prove to us. So, these are all very tough things to digest in the beginning days of study of Shastra, because we are in so many duties, obligations, desires, etc. But as we progress in our study, when it becomes finer and finer, when you start understanding the truth also in its purity, and when we want to know the sadhana for it, in those higher and subtler stages, these subtle understandings we have to gain regarding what is to be given up, what is to be taken up. So to take up the Atman, everything has to be given up. That's it. That's the meaning of na karamana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Isn't it? Tyagene ke amritattva manusha. That's the meaning of either sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam raja ityad. And for that also again, the other jnanams as we are studying of yoga vas etc. are required, which are even Mandukya Upanishad ka Vaitatya Pakranadi, which prove to us the मिथ्यात्व और वैतथ्यत्व of the entire seen जगत. जिस पूरा बाहर भीतर जगत को हम देख रहे हैं, जितना सत्य दिख रहा है उतना सत्य नहीं है, वो मिथ्या है. It has a व्यावहारिक value and sadhana value. More than that, it is, if it is valued, it becomes cause of samsara. These knowledges also when become stronger, then our hold that मेरे को ये पकड़कर उसको पाना है, वो छूट जाएगा, which is very essential. These are all the finer maturities. As we studied the Upanishads one round, 2, 3, 4 rounds when we do, when the knowledge becomes stronger, in the meantime through Upasanadi, when we purify our Antakarana, these finer, subtler understandings, maturities will come to us. We just took up this path. Only one thing, when you don't give it up, the Shastra Adhyayanam and Manana Chintana Sadhana, it will be going on, growing only. And then understandings become true, subtle. Then the sadhana का पूरा मायना क्या समझ में आता है, कर भी लेंगे वो साधना को, then we discover the same. Let us see that. So tomorrow also we'll have the Aitareya Upanishad. Again, half of the Bhashyam is left to be chanted, करेंगे. Then the synopsis of the entire Upanishad करेंगे. Then Parayan Pura करेंगे. Then we are free to take up our next SHWETHASHWATHARA, which is more and more of Padya Rupa, Shloka Rupa, and Sarala hai it is to understand. And Shankara Bhagavan helps us in quoting every Upanishad and every Smriti Purana in that particular Upanishad. Then we have Chandogya, big one, then Vradaranyaka. मैं तो छोड़ने वाला नहीं हूँ, I to go on study for myself. All are welcome. Om 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 Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो परम ऋषिभ्यो परम ब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. Thank you for your patient audience. From this, we know how our intellects have to become more and more single pointed, sharper, and subtler to tune to these guidances of our great masters like Adi Shankara, etc., to understand. So, let us aim at this. As we said in the today's 10-15 minutes of introduction, no more struggling trying to conquer or defeat the world. Let us now struggle inside for our own, making our equipments qualified for grasping the standpoints of our great sages shown through the Shastras. Om. हमारा लक्ष्य अंतर्मुख होकर अंतःकरण को परमात्मा प्राप्ति हेतु तैयार करने के लिए होना चाहिए. गुरुमातु पितं 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 पेजेस. या हो जाएगा कल अवश्य. अम्मయ్య